Hi, my name is Michaella Flynn. I'm 20 years old and I'm a soon-to-be Valencia Honors graduate. So why did I apply to the honors program? I've been homeschooled my entire life, and when it came time to apply for college, the standards and expectations for a homeschool student were a lot higher, and that made the application process and acceptance very difficult. So at the time, my brother was attending Valencia College, and he was on full scholarship with their honors program. And he was saving money, and he was going to transfer to UCF afterwards. And I thought that's a super smart plan and a great idea. So I decided to follow in his footsteps. So I decided to apply to Valencia, and I was accepted, and then I said, why not go the extra step, and I applied for Valencia Honors. And at the time, I really didn't think that I would get in. I'm a straight A student, but I had average test scores. My SAT reading and writing were, just average, and my math was actually below. It was so low that I had to take the PERT at Valencia to figure out where I'd be placed. So as you can imagine, I figured Valencia's going to look at my test scores and they're going to say, no way, she's not honors material. So I decided to apply, and I wrote the essay, and I had people read it and look at it for me, and then I re-edit it, and then I got letters of acceptance and letters of recommendation, and I submitted my volunteer hours, and then I waited. And I got a little hope. I thought I did a really good job with my application. I'm excited. I think I have a good chance. And I got a letter in the mail that said, we regret to inform you that you've been rejected, you didn't make it. And I was sad, because I had gotten my hopes up, and I thought, I'm still going to go to Valencia. I'm still excited, and I'm going to make the best out of my next 2 years. But with a little convincing from my mom, who always pushes and challenges me to be the best. She said, why not email the honors director and ask what you can do to better yourself in the future for future applications, and possibly the opportunity to attend UCF's Honors College. So I did. I emailed the director of honors, and I said, I want to thank you for the opportunity to be able to apply to this college, and what can I do to better myself for the future. And I received an email that said, you've been accepted to the Valencia's Honors Global Studies track, that there was a technical problem where my SAT scores were not sent to the honors application. They were sent to the college, but they were never sent with my application. And so if I had not reached out with that minor detail, I would never have gotten into Valencia's honors. I've been a part of the Global Honors Studies track for about 2 years now, and I'm very proud to say that I will be graduating on May 7th. Okay, so I have 2 capstone portfolio highlights that I'd like to showcase in my video, and that's, the first one is The Malice Within. It's a cause and effect story type essay that I wrote in my Comp 2 class with Professor Kate McGowan. And learning about and understanding cause and effect was by far one of the most fun and interesting topics that I've studied at Valencia. Professor Kate McGowan showed us many stories and videos about cause and effect, and really made the classroom come to life with lots of hands-on activities. However, when it came to actually writing a cause and effect story, that was very challenging, because everything you do leads to an effect. And so, I had three main causes that were going to lead to these effects, but within those were more causes and effects, and it became confusing and really frustrating, because I would write and rewrite and figure out, okay, well, I don't want it to lead to this, and I think I rewrote that essay 4 or 5 times, and until I got it to the point where I really wanted it. But in the end, when I finished the story, I realized that it's probably one of my most favorite assignments that I've completed at Valencia. And I realized it's important to never give up, because no matter how hard something is, it's always going to be worth it in the end. So another highlight in my honors capstone portfolio is about the Koning William Dutch students in the Netherlands. So while at Valencia, I was able to collaborate with these students for the past 2 years. We have been able to Skype, text, friend on Facebook, email, through assignments that we did in my anthropology class and my composition class. And they actually came over during the spring of 2016 to Valencia, and they spent a week here, and we went to plays. They came to some of our classes, and we did some activities with them and really showed them the American culture and what it's like to go to school at Valencia. And then I had the opportunity to travel to the Netherlands and study abroad this past spring in 2017. And I got to go to their college. Again, it was the Koning William College. And I got to see what it was like to live in the Dutch culture and bike 16 miles a day and walk 24,000 steps a day and go to classes and see their theme park and really experience the true Dutch culture. And so that was like one of the biggest highlights of being able to be a part of the Global Studies Honors Track. How do I define myself as a global citizen? I really like the organization Oxfam and their definition of a global citizen. I feel like it truly describes and encompasses the values and beliefs of a global citizen, and I try and live my life according to those values. So number one, I'm aware of the wider world, and I have a sense of my role as a world citizen. I try and keep up with current events, but also learn about the past because history is just as important, and I try and help wherever help is needed. Two, I respect and value diversity. Every individual has something unique and special to offer this world, and it's important to remind people of that. Number three, I have a basic understanding of how the world works. An example would be the classes I've taken at Valencia. I've learned about multiple different world religions, economics, politics, environmental science, peace studies, hospitality, and the list continues to go on. I am outraged by social injustice. I'm a very black and white person, and when I read or hear about something on the news that's unfair or breaks the law, I want to do all that I can to help fix the problem as well as help those who were wronged. I participate in the community at a range of levels from local to global. Whenever I'm not studying or working, I'm volunteering at local churches or nonprofit organizations and finding new ways to get involved at a more global level. I also, I've traveled abroad outside of the country to Italy, Canada, and the Netherlands, and I hope to continue traveling in the future, making a difference wherever I go. At number six, I am willing to act to make the world a more equitable and sustainable place. Again, I do whatever I can to help the environment, animals, and individuals. I recycle, I carpool, I turn off lights when I'm leaving the room. It's the little things that might not seem like they will make a difference, but I know that they will and that I'm doing my part in this world. Number seven, most importantly, I take responsibility for my actions. If I mess up, I recognize the mistake that I made and I do whatever I can to fix it. I'll never blame anyone for my actions. They are my own and I must accept them. So when it comes to the number one Global Studies track highlight, so we all know the question of what do you want to do when you grow up? And I was always asked that numerous times throughout my childhood, and I always had an answer. Whether it was I wanted to be a doctor or a secretary or an astronaut. But I always knew what I wanted to do. It changed from time to time, but I knew that that was what I wanted to do in that moment, and I was excited. And it was about 6 months before I applied for Valencia that I had no answer to that question. I had no idea what I wanted to do, and it was that moment that was crucial. That I needed an answer, and it was frustrating and it was upsetting, and so I was proactive and I looked at a bunch of careers, I researched, I did a couple of days of shadowing, and I kind of knew what I wanted to try and get into, but I still wasn't sure. And when I heard that the Valencia's honors program had a global studies track, I thought that was a great opportunity to expose myself to multiple career fields. They offered classes that were economics, international politics, environmental science, peace studies, world religions, and I realized that those were great opportunities to get my feet wet, to say, hey, do I want to go into a direction of political science, or do I want to go into business or mathematics? And so, taking those courses was one of the best features of the track, that they lay it out for you, that they plan them, and they decide, hey, this is what the students are going to take. Because I never would have taken them if I was not a part of the track. I would have taken yoga, and which are still great classes, but they don't really get your feet wet into the career paths. And then I realized it's been 2 years, and I've taken all of the classes that are required, and I've narrowed down my career path to event management and hospitality. So before I conclude, I'd just like to give 3 tips of advice for future honors students, and that's one, to take every opportunity that comes your way. And if there are none, make them, because nothing is ever going to be given to you, and things that are worth having are never going to come easy, but they're worth it. Number 2 is get involved. Get involved with Valencia, get involved in your community, get involved with your family and friends. Find new places to volunteer and different organizations to be a part of. Take service learning at Valencia and gain college credit at the same time. It doesn't matter what you do. What matters is that you're making a difference in other people's lives and a difference in the world, and that you're doing something. And finally, do well in school, study hard, and study smart. But remember to actually live life once in a while. School is one of the most important things in your life right now, but living life and enjoying college is also very important. So don't push yourself to take 5 or 6 classes a semester. Don't push yourself to try and get an A in every class. So as long as you do your best and devote enough time to your studies, you're going to make it. And Valencia's alumni, the students at Valencia, we're all here for you, and we're waiting for the day that you're able to walk across that stage.